We are connecting to the live stream. I think we're live. So good afternoon, West Covina, and welcome to another live training covering new program and platform, GoGuardian Teacher. I am Tony Ramirez, Chief Technology Officer, and once again joined by Mr. Johnny Guerrero, who's one of our amazing computer system support specialists, as well as Miss Jennifer Crabtree, our Coordinator of Educational Technology and Distance Learning. I wanted to take a quick second, start off by saying thank you. Thank you to all the teachers tuning in today. Thank you for rolling with all the challenges this year with distance learning, specifically regarding technology. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your input and your feedback. This helps us tremendously when we align our priorities with your needs. Thank you for always pushing the envelope and keeping us in technology services and educational services at the district on our toes with the latest and greatest tools that are available to all of us. Thank you for being a part of this journey. It's not an easy one, but overall I'm very pleased with the collaboration and the hard work that goes on each and every day, and everything we're doing regarding distance learning and helping our kids stay interested and engaged. To say that we've had a flawless start of the school year would be a bit overzealous of me, but when I look at all the other districts in the county and all the schools in our area, and quite frankly hear of the challenges they have and the nightmares they've had, it really comes back down to one thing: is that our teaching staff is incredible. We're very tech forward, and more than anything are very willing to go above and beyond, which is showing tremendous success with our classrooms and our students. So let's get into GoGuardian. As you may know, we've been piloting this system for a couple of weeks, and it has had overwhelming positive responses of its usefulness. So just a few points I'd like to share before I hand it over to the pros here. This software, first and foremost, helps our students stay on task and keeps them more scholarly when learning online. It helps with student progress, allowing you as teachers to monitor their activity, their screens in real time, which is very, very important and helpful. In addition, it helps engage your students one-on-one with two-way communications that doesn't disrupt the class. For some general timelines, by the end of this week, so tomorrow, a parent square communication will be sent out to all families, informing them of this new tool and some of the important key points to remember when using it. And for you to know as teachers, in case you are asked certain questions, there's a few points that I would like for you to keep at the forefront of your mind if inquired by parents and students. GoGuardian is to be used during live instruction only. Since we don't have the ability to walk around the classroom right now, this software is an attempt to help with that. Secondly, GoGuardian will be active within instructional hours from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. only, so it will not be operational outside of our instructional timeline. Thirdly, GoGuardian will operate on district-issued devices only. This will not work on a personal computer or phone. So if you can't engage a student that way, they may be using a personal device, and we want to stay away from that realm as much as possible for security and privacy reasons. Lastly, as of right now, this software is available on Chromebooks only, although we are in the process of rolling this out to PCs, and we are exploring what avenues and alternatives we had for our iPad fleet as well. But at this point in time, GoGuardian is strictly for Chromebook use. At this point in time, I'd like to hand it over to Jen and Johnny to take you through this new platform we have and how to access it and some of the most useful tips when dealing with classroom management. So without further ado, take it away.
Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, T.
So we have our amazing Johnny. Go ahead, Johnny.
Hello. For those of you that know me, I'm John Guerrero. I'm housed here at the district office, and I'm the district-wide Google administrator.
And I'm Jennifer Crabtree, the coordinator of educational technology and distance learning. And so the question is, Johnny, can I manage my student Chromebooks? if I gave you the name of even a particular student, could you run me a report and tell me what they're doing on their Chromebook on any given day?
Absolutely. Of course I can, Mrs. Crabtree. However, have you heard about our new amazing tool called GoGuardian?
Gosh, no. What is that?
Well, then, GoGuardian is a student monitoring tool that allows you to see student screens and be in control of classroom management, even in distance learning environment as we are today.
That sounds amazing. So do we all have access to it?
Yes, absolutely. Every single faculty member at West Covina Unified School District will be able to access this for our Chromebook users through Clever.
So if I go into Clever, I'm going to see GoGuardian and I can click on it and access it and no problem.
Yes, that is correct. The first thing faculty members should do is log into their Clever as illustrated in the slide and click on the GoGuardian app to launch the program.
This is so exciting. This will allow our teachers to monitor student screens, to make sure everyone's on task. Teachers will be able to lock students in a particular screen, send students right to a website in a single click, even send messages to individual students, and restrict them from certain websites that don't pertain to what they're doing during class. So, Johnny, can we go over how to use it?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. If you have some time, I'd love to show you.
Let's do it.
Right on.
So when I log into GoGuardian, it kind of almost looks like Google Classroom in a way.
Kind of. The interface is very user-friendly. The developers of GoGuardian have modeled their interface to be more user-friendly, just like Google has for our resources.
And so it's going to connect through Clever, which means it's rostered through Aries, right? But
Correct.
what if I have my own Google Classroom that I want to connect?
You can manually connect using the import Google Classroom, which is in the upper right-hand corner. However, at the district level, we're taking advantage of the rostering, and we're going to be connecting this through Clever. So your classrooms and the students will be easy to access through this interface right here, which will be a seamless exchange.
But I could always add my own Google Classroom, right? If I had like small groups that I worked in or a separate class that I pulled students for, I could connect
Absolutely, absolutely. All the students are covered. They all have licenses. Every single student using a Chromebook will be accessible to those faculty members. Absolutely.
Awesome. Great. And so what you may not know is our amazing Johnny Guerrero teaches a class over at Edgewood. And he does an amazing job at that. So these are actually screenshots from his GoGuardian classroom, because in order to show you GoGuardian, we have to have an active class. So we took some screenshots and we're going to walk you through those shots, okay?
Absolutely.
Johnny, what are we looking at in this shot?
What you're looking at here is my class, my first period class. All the students, they're starting to log in, not only to Google Classroom, but they're logging into their Chromebooks using, obviously, their Google profiles. So by simply navigating over to the GoGuardian interface and finding my classroom for that specific period, I will start seeing the student screens populating, as you see in this illustration provided in this slide.
So if I'm looking at this correctly, Johnny, it looks like this particular student is on a Google Doc, whereas this particular student is in their Google Meet. And then I can see down here all the different tabs that they already have open. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. The beauty of GoGuardian is that it is capturing every single web filtering activity the student is on. What that means is exactly what you see here. If a student has 20 tabs open, GoGuardian is going to be able to articulate and visually show us as to what those resources the students are actually trying to attempt to access.
Okay, but this student says they're offline. What does that mean?
So this was early in the morning, class is starting up, right? So this can mean several things. However, offline, this status indicates that the student's Google account is not currently connected to any GoGuardian services, which means they have not signed into the Chromebook and or simply are having internet connectivity issues at home.
Okay, but what about this one? This one says monitoring is restricted.
Okay, that is because the student is using a personal device and GoGuardian has been launched, That is because the student is either using a personal device or GoGuardian has been launched outside of our hours of operation. Right now, GoGuardian has been configured for 7 to 4 o'clock. So if I start this at 6:30, I'm going to see that. If I start this after 4 o'clock, I'm also going to see that error message as well.
Okay, awesome. So if I click on any one of these particular students, this is the screen I would see, right? I would see what they see on their particular screen.
Correct.
And then I would see other tabs that they have open.
All of their tabs that they have open. As we can see in this example provided right here, one of our students has 10 tabs open. That gives me insight and capability of either closing those sites for my student and or having those one-to-one discussions as well with that student to keep them back on track with the rest of the classroom.
Wow, so I can actually, me as the teacher, I can close their tabs.
Absolutely. You don't have to call the help desk and reach one of us over here. You now have access from your classroom, from this interface, to be able to control that.
That's awesome.
It truly is.
So over here, so I'm on student activity. If I click over to the chat tab, I can chat with a student?
Yeah, absolutely. This is an amazing feature that GoGuardian has because it allows me to have that one-to-one with that student versus calling them out in the Google Meet amongst all the rest of the students.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. So this is a private chat and nobody else will see it, correct?
Nobody else can see this, only the faculty member and the student. Absolutely. So that's an advantage of GoGuardian, being able to, hey, little Timmy, let's get back on track without calling them out in front of their peers.
That's great. Down at the bottom, I see that we have some options. Exclude student, what does that do?
So exclude student, this means that it's going to remove the student from the current GoGuardian session, my classroom, my session. So you'll not be able to monitor the student's web activity for the duration of that period. If you do this, you will need to re-include the student back into GoGuardian into your session manually.
So I see, like, if my kid was pulled out for speech or RSP or some other situation, and I don't need to be monitoring their screen along with the rest of my students, I could exclude them.
Yeah, and the reason why you want to do that is that way, if the student is going off with another teacher in a sense, and they want to access specific websites, they're not going to be blocked from those websites and or resources that the next teacher might need to have access to.
Right, because only one teacher can monitor a student at a time. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so that's important to know. So it looks like I can open new tabs for my kids, probably, and send them to specific sites.
Yes,
it looks
correct.
like I can lock their device if it's time to shut down the screens.
This is a really neat feature right here because, yes, as you said, it will lock down their devices, which means you have complete control of their attention, right? And then from there, if you want them to open or you want them to see just a specific tab or resource, that's where you go in there and click open new tab for that student.
Okay. And then obviously I can take a screenshot. So if I'm having a parent conference and I need to show some specific examples of what I'm noticing, I can take those screenshots easily.
That is correct. Instead of having to wait for us to populate those reports for you guys, it's instantaneous now. You can navigate over to that student, you can lock their device, you can take screenshots and have those available to you within seconds.
That's awesome. If I'm looking at my screen where I can see all the kiddos one more time, it looks like if I click the 3 little dots in the corner of any given student, it looks like I have these same options where I can lock their device, open tabs, exclude them, or even chat with them. So I don't have to open each student's tab to have those options.
That's correct. Instead of focusing on a singular student, what GoGuardian has done right here is given us the option to hover over each student's profile, each student's screen in a sense. And as you just said, those 3 dots are available, boom. You have access to those settings immediately for the entire class.
Wonderful. So this particular student was one of our students where monitoring was restricted, but when we clicked on the student, we still had the ability to chat with them.
Yes, correct.
So we can still do that?
Yeah, this student right here is using his father's MacBook. And because GoGuardian is currently configured just for the Chromebooks, obviously I can't monitor that device. However, if I think my student is not being engaged or responsive to me, I could still send them a direct message. So I still have access to that student through GoGuardian, although I might not be able to monitor their activity.
Awesome. Okay, so I was playing around with GoGuardian, Johnny, and I noticed this thing called scenes. What's a scene?
Scenes are designed to give teachers added control over students' web activity during class sessions. Scenes can be either in block mode, where all websites are blocked except the ones added to the exception list, or it could be in allow mode, where all websites are allowed except the ones added to the exceptions list. And since GoGuardian is designed for K-12, it has tons of pre-approved K-12 resources we may already be familiar with, such as Kahoot, Edpuzzle, and Desmos. So on Fridays when I have my assessments, I really like to lock down the students and only launch that specific resource for them. So I could create a scene that's named assessment and only have a specific resource available for those students, or I could have another scene for participation opportunity. Scenes can be endless.
I see. So it's like a scenario. So I can have these already preset of things I allow or things that I don't allow.
Absolutely. You could have a scene called Kahoot time. You could have a scene called test time. You could have a scene called quiz time. And all the settings that you could configure are going to be right there on that page that you see that's illustrated in the slide.
That's great. And then I noticed
absolutely.
there is this tab management. You can manage their tabs. Whoops, sorry, let me go back.
Yes, absolutely. You can manage one of their tabs or all of the tabs. And if you scroll down toward the bottom right there of your screen, you could see how I have my student interface Cisco NetAcad, right? So if I choose to just have the students only be able to access one tab, I would switch that bottom section there from 4 to 1. And then the students will only be restricted to the singular tab that I want them to focus on. So they won't be able to open additional tabs, navigate away from those tabs I want to have access to. So that's another great benefit of creating those scenes ahead of time for your class.
You know, I really like this because I know a lot of students have issues with their, connectivity at home with the Google Meet. And when they have too many tabs open, it slows down their computer, slows down their Google Meet, which gives them problems. But I can limit how many tabs they have open so that I can help prevent some of those issues that I might be having in my classroom.
Absolutely, exactly. That is one of the great benefits of the tab management portion of GoGuardian. So I use it daily with my students, and I've noticed less tech issues. I notice more engagement because the kids aren't off on different tabs doing, the next period's homework assignment or drifting off into video game, I truly like this feature within GoGuardian.
That's great. Okay, so it looks like I can run reports on my students' usage of their Chromebooks during instructional time.
Absolutely. You could do this during instructional time or after. And
so it looks
you just
like
simply, go ahead, sorry.
It looks like I get the top 5 websites, the top 5 documents they were on, and the top 5 Google searches.
Everything's right there. And as you navigate towards the bottom of your screen, you could read right there, it says detailed browsing history. So if little Timmy's telling you, yes, I'm on track, be like, look, little Timmy, what is this website right here during my class time, right? You no longer have to wait to get a hold of us over here at the district office. You have access to this within the GoGuardian interface. So it's instantaneous. It's just amazing.
So our teachers can pull these reports for our students whenever they want. They don't have to wait for you, Johnny, to pull them. That's great.
That's it. Absolutely.
Okay. So this screenshot we took on the timelines tab. Tell us what we're looking at.
So what we're looking at is when the student begins to get monitored by GoGuardian, it's picking up their web activity by the second, by the minute, by the hour. So this is this section right here. This is this tab called Timelines, where you could see exactly where each single student that's being monitored by GoGuardian and the web activity that specific student is accessing. So an example here, my student Luis, you can see he's in a Kahoot and he's also in a Google Meet, right? So it's going to really lay out the blueprint of that student's web activity. There's no, I wasn't, oh, that wasn't me, you know, it really lays it out. It's super user-friendly interface. It's just so simple to point out, you know?
And then there's also something where you can set up task alerts, where you as the teacher can set which kind of subject you're teaching. And if GoGuardian notices the student is on a resource that's not typically associated with that subject, it will send you an off-task alert.
That is correct. If you tell me, okay, it's time to go do some research on health, and I take advantage of that time and I go research on gaming, it's going to send me an alert and it's going to send you an alert. And those alerts are super beneficial to keep little Timmy on task.
So the student gets an alert too?
Yes, they do.
That's great. And it looks like I can be lenient or I can be strict.
Yes, that is correct. You have options to configure these settings to your liking.
That's great. All right, so I know something that's super important in GoGuardian is to set up the calendars, because as you mentioned earlier, Johnny, you said only one teacher can monitor any given student at a specific time. So it would be really important to set up your calendar within GoGuardian for your specific class periods.
And this what this helps out with as well too is when your class is over, I know we're all busy as faculty members and we got to get on to the next thing and we have this and that to do. By setting up your calendar, what this allows to do is those students to be removed from your session, right? So my session is about computers. I might have them blocked from everything else. If I don't remove that student from my session and they move on to your classroom and you want them to navigate to your resources, they might be blocked because I still have them in my class and I still have control of their web activities. So by scheduling and setting up your calendar is really going to help out with those busy moments or forgetful moments as well too, right?
So if you ever forget to end the session, this will do it automatically for you.
I would never forget it.
Oh, of course not.
But this is why I set up my calendar.
So when we did this, we did this on a Monday together, and you can see that on that Monday, we could go to that live session, but you had planned out the rest of your week. So that's already calendared.
Yeah, that's correct. Absolutely. And as you can see here, Thursday, I don't have a class. So
lucky you.
I know, right? But then again, my kids aren't being restricted from other resources when they enter those faculty member GoGuardian sessions. So it's very important to be mindful of that. So you're not getting a phone call from the next faculty member like, hey, little Timmy can't access anything, right? So be mindful of those settings, set up your calendars, and enjoy the experience.
And then every teacher at the end of every day receives their GoGuardian Teacher Daily Summary to see what you were up to, what your kids were up to, so you can get an idea of what's going on a daily basis, what's going on in your classroom.
That is correct. I love this feature. I don't have to do manual searches. I don't have to do individual reports. At the end of the day, I get a cookie cutter, beautiful little summary of what happened in my class today. And as you can see right there, I mean, most of your students in your class visited the following sites. So if you see some sites in there that you don't like, I suggest you block those next time you set a class session.
As always, if you ever have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Johnny's at the district office. You can always put in a help ticket or contact me. You can use my Calendly to set up a one-on-one. You can email me, call me, whatever. We are here to support you.
That's right. We're here for you guys. Just feel free to reach out to us and we'll be there to help you.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Johnny, and thank you, Jen, so much for all the hard work you've put into this to get this rolled out in an impossibly short time frame, and to all the technology services team for supporting this new program and all of our teachers every single day. And one more time to our wonderful teachers tuning in, thank you so much. We hope this tool saves you time and just makes your life just a little bit easier through all of this technology madness. This training is being recorded So stay tuned for a follow-up email from myself with a link to that, as well as additional resources. And as always, for support and assistance, you can contact Jan, Johnny, or our helpline, and we'll get you assisted as soon as possible. So thanks, and have a great rest of your week. Stay safe and have a good one.
Go Guardian.